Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day two of DLMS's coverage of the CCYA Sharp Hours show. My name is Wyatt Burgomaster. I'll be broadcasting the show with you today. Opening ceremonies or closing ceremonies will start any moment now, with our confirmation show starting at 11 o'clock. Again, thank you for joining. We should have a good day today. It's raining in Carp today, but besides that, spirits are high for the last day of Charolais Junior Nationals. Again, we appreciate you checking in.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to our CCYA closing ceremonies. Test. No, I've got right. Well, I'm going to be quiet, I guess.
Just some in-house audio problems. We'll get started here in a minute.
Test. All right, good morning and welcome to the final day of CCYA. We are going to start off our morning here with the closing ceremonies. We would like to welcome in the ring our Canadian flag bearers, Braden and Fisher. Now we have our CCYA Little Shars. We now have our Ontario delegation. Now have our Nova Scotia delegation. Next we have Manitoba. Next we have New Brunswick. Saskatchewan. We now have Quebec. And in conclusion, we have Alberta. Let's have a round of applause for our participants for CCYA 2026. At this time, we are going to have our little Shars sing us "O Canada."
Megan, we're going to hold the microphone and start us off. Okay, you all ready? Are they playing music for them? With it? Okay. Ready? Canada, native land, true patriot love, in our sunstrong man, we have glowing hearts, we see thee rise, our true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Our deep our land, glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
At this time, we will welcome our participants to return to the barn, start working on your projects. Our classes will begin at 11 a.m. Let's give a good round of applause for these participants coming out here this week. At this time, you can also log into the Ringside app in the barns to make sure you're keeping up with your classes. And for those tuning in online or in the stands, you can follow along on the Ringside Seat app as well. They've been a great sponsor here, and we're happy to have them as part of our event. You can also tune in on DLMS. We are live streaming on DLMS here today. Again, we will be joining starting the class at 11 o'clock. That is 11 o'clock.
Well, a short and quick closing ceremonies. This year's CCYA had a great 95 participants with a total of 7 provinces represented. We had 33 senior members, 27 intermediate members, 28 juniors, and 7 little Shars. A real great turnout for the Charolais breed. So again, thank you for tuning in to this year's coverage of the CCYA Junior National Char Power in Carp, Ontario. CCYA would like to announce that next year's CCYA will be in Manitoba, in Virden. Virden, Manitoba will host next year's CCYA. So please stay up to date with Manitoba Charolais Association as well as the Manitoba Charolais Junior Association for more information on that when it becomes available. When we have some downtime here, we'd like to thank CCYA would like to thank our sponsors. In the Platinum sponsor category, we were very fortunate to have the Canadian Charolais Association, the Carp Fair, the Charolais Banner, Coach Agronomic Services, the Ontario Charolais Association, and DLMS. Thank you for your sponsorship. For our gold sponsors, we have Friends of the Canadian Charolais Foundation. Thank you very much. In our silver category, we have Farm Credit Canada, MNP, the Manitoba Charolais Association, Cedardale Charolais and ADA Cattle Co., the Nesbitt family, Burgomaster Agri Marketing, R&J Farms, Rob Fraser and family, Whitewater Charolais, Curtis Chelsea Black and family. In our bronze sponsor tier, we have Master Feeds, Pioneer, Hicks Insurance Brokers, Beef Farmers of Ontario, Brussels Agri Services, T-Bar C Cattle Co., Malwood, the Saskatchewan Charolais Association, the Ringside Seed App, Hard Rock Land and Cattle, Jay and Albert Argue and Connie Finley, Kernleen Cattle Company, Loval Farms, Medonte Charolais, One Acre Charolais, Renfrew County Beef, Wright Livestock Marketing, Saunders Charolais, Keith and Karen Black, Blackburn Farms. For our individual class sponsors, we have Cedardale Farms, Vancrest Farms, Hamilton Hulac Charolais, Irvinside Cattle Co., McGregor Veterinary Services, Miller Land and Livestock, Sophie Taylor and Taylor Farms, Owen O'Neill and Family, and Alliance AgriTurf. For our Little Char sponsors who did such a great job singing our national anthem this morning, we have Rosso Charolais, Medonte Charolais, Megan's Veterinary Services, Tom and Janet Taylor, Dunsby Charolais, Limelight Gardens, Will Meadows with H2 Show Fresh, Bob Eagleson, and Goldie Moore. Thank you to all our sponsors and all our tiers. Without you, we wouldn't be able to put this show on, and we're truly grateful for your charity and donations. And thank you very much for supporting youth in agriculture. So we have just over 40 minutes here before our first class hits the ring, if everything goes to schedule. Feel free to stay with us and watch the ambience of the bleachers as we wait for our show to begin at 9 o'clock on the dot. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Good morning. This is your 5-minute warning for bull calves. 5 minutes.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to DLMS's coverage of the CCYA Junior National Sharp Hour in Carp, Ontario. We are a couple minutes out from starting our day with our bull calf class.
Good morning and welcome to our confirmation divisions here this morning. We would like to welcome our purebred Charolais bull calf class. We are looking for 6 entries in this division. We'd also like to introduce our judge for today, Dr. Aaron Grant. grew up on a purebred cattle operation in Olds, Alberta. Aaron attended Texas A&M University, where he received his bachelor's and master's degrees in animal science and then his PhD in ruminant nutrition from Michigan State University. For 15 years, Dr. Grant worked as a consultant in the feed yard industry, where he directed feeding management systems for feed yards across Canada and the USA. He currently works for Supreme International, where he serves as a nutritionist for international beef and dairy producers. Dr. Grant has judged cattle shows throughout North and South America and is a strong supporter of the Charolais breed. Let's give Aaron a warm Ontario welcome.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
We'd like to introduce our platinum sponsors today: the Canadian Charolais Association, Carp Fair, the Charolais Banner, DLMS, Coach Agronomic Services, and the Ontario Charolais Association. These great sponsors have been a very large part of our event here this week.
So we are currently in Class 1 purebred Charolais bull calves born in 2026. We have six entries in this class. Birth dates ranging from the 1st of January to the 21st of January. Judge Grant with his reasons.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to all the junior exhibitors. It sounds like we've had a great 3, 4, 5 days throughout the entire CCYA junior show. I think we'll round out the show with some confirmation classes, obviously, but I think the biggest experience for our juniors out here are probably what we've had the previous days in terms of our marketing interaction, showmanship, learning about genomics and how we utilize those throughout the industry. And so I think we've had a great show so far, and hope the junior exhibitors have learned a great deal. Again, this is the future of our breed, and so the more knowledgeable, the more experience they gain at a younger age, obviously the stronger the breed is going to be, and I think we're in great shape right now in terms of where we're positioned within the entire industry. We'll start off the bull calf division today. All these bulls, again, it's difficult to break, grow, and have bulls show ready when they're only 3, 4, 5 months old. And so when we see these exhibitors out here, it's a great testament to getting these calves ready to go. As they grow and develop, they're probably going to prove us wrong in terms of how they place today. But our first 2 calves, I think when we look at them from a muscle shape and design standpoint, fit together relatively well. I think the bull calf that's the most powerful in the class starts off our division here. Really a long-bodied bull with a great deal of muscle shape. He has some power through his front end and his shoulder, which I think, again, as the Charolais breed goes, we really need to see. Backs that up by being a really muscular bull with a really wide base. I think the bull that follows him in type and kind comes second. A bull that maybe rounds out of his hip just a little bit more, doesn't quite show us as much power through his upper hip, but I think a bull that goes ahead and follows in quite nicely. Bull with similar muscle composition, I think, comes into third. Maybe a bull that's just a little bit softer top and doesn't quite stand with as much power and design as the other calves do, but I think he follows that pattern fairly well. Probably got the biggest bull in terms of frame size and growth coming in next. Bull that's extremely long-sided. Again, he is the largest framed in the class relative to his peers out here. Just doesn't come with as much mass and type and kind in terms of his muscle pattern as the bulls that precede him. And we round out the class again with 2 bull calves that are probably going to prove us wrong in terms of where they stood in class today. Calves that maybe just get a little bit frailer in terms of their bone at this age of their lives. Maybe bulls that just get a little bit rounder out of their hip, maybe not quite as designed the same way. But I think all these bull calves are going to really grow and progress, and it's going to be exciting to see them in a few months and down the road. So let's give our junior exhibitors in our bull calf division a round of applause.
Leading off our Charolais Bull Calf division here with our champion purebred Charolais Bull is ring number 50, Dallas Coughlin, with Cornerview Pilot 13P. In second, ring number 14, Lily Buffard with Open Gate Pops 41P. In third, ring number 7, Rhett Black with Whitewater Paramount 9P. In fourth, ring number 155, Logan Saunders with JSR Payload 22P. In fifth, ring number 69, Ethan Easby with Dunsby Mr. Prestige 1P. And in sixth, ring number 174, Aaliyah Stacy with JKC Pablo 157P. Test, test, test. Test, test, test.
Being your automatic champion bull at this year's CCYA was Cornerview Pilot, RBM Keystone Sun, exhibited by Dallas Coughlin. And your reserve was Open Gate Pops, exhibited by Lily Buffard.
We will now be looking for our first class of purebred Charolais heifer calves. This is the first of 3 heats of heifer calves.
For those following along at home, for Class 2, we have 2 scratches. Exhibitor 119, exhibited by Darren McCord, and 115, exhibited by Jace McAvoy, are both scratches for Class 2. We are looking for 5 entries in a Class 1 of our heifer calf division.
Can I put my ice cap up here?
Age ranges for this class are from January 15th
taking
to
yours or
February
Mike's?
4th.
Are they taking yours or
Again, that
Mike's?
is January 15th to February 4th.
For those in the stands that will be attending the rest of our day here today, the OCA annual general meeting will begin at 2:30 over in the banquet hall. Our awards banquet will begin around 5:30, with dinner to be served at 6:30 over in the banquet hall as well. So please join us over there. At that time, there will be a cash and debit bar as well.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Well, we'll start off our female division in our first split of heifer calves. I believe we've got 3 splits, so we'll bring back the top 2 from each division or each split for your heifer calf division. We start out the class, I think, with the most powerfully constructed heifer, really a deep-sided, long-hipped heifer that ideally, if we could see her track just a little bit longer on her rear legs today, that would be ideal, but at the same point in time, she's not always behaving as best as she could out here. The young ladies are doing a really nice job in bringing this heifer into line and getting her presented very well. Heifer that comes in next, a little bit greener in her condition, but I think in terms of her muscle pattern and her levelness of design, follow suit quite well. Just doesn't quite have the same amount of expression down her top and out of her hip as the heifer that starts the class. The largest framed heifer comes next, really an extended heifer. I think a heifer that tracks extremely well as we view her out here. Just again today, maybe a little bit greener in her condition, maybe not quite as thick or muscular down her top and out of her hip as the other 2 heifers that precede her. The 2 heifers that remain, heifers that maybe just differ in terms of their type and design a little bit, maybe not quite tracking as well on their hind legs as you'd like to see comparative to their classmates, but 2 heifers again with a lot of potential future to them. It's going to be really enjoyable to see how they continue to grow and develop. Really nice split in our first class of heifer calves.
Leading off the first split of heifer calves is ring number 107, Olivia Kelly with Bridor Poppy 6P. In second, ring number 102, Briar Kelly with Hicks Kelly's Penny 1P. In third, ring number 76, Haley Ernewine with Alton Roxanne 2221P. In fourth, ring number 176, Farrah Stacy with JKC Miss Paris 175P. And in fifth, ring number 184, Cassidy Taylor with Taylor Petunia 25P. Ring number 119 and 115 are scratches out of that class. Now entering the ring is our class number 3 second split of Charolais heifer calves.
For those caring at home about the genetics side of things, the class winner, 107 Bridor Poppy, was a Bourbon daughter born January 15th from Olivia Kelly.
Again, I just want to compliment our junior exhibitors. It's not easy to bring calves this young out. Certainly their mothers are out back somewhere, and so again, a lot of different things that create variables out here for these young show persons, but again, really appreciate what they're doing out here. I think the heifer that starts the class, again, in my opinion, the most powerfully constructed heifer, really a lot of width and base to her, pretty strong topped heifer as well, and gets out and travels very nice. Ideally, maybe we'd clean her up a little bit through her front 1/3, but at the same point in time, again, she's got a lot of potential to grow and continue to develop. And again, meets my eye in terms of what we're looking for today in terms of the muscle and balance and some length of side and some soundness to her as well. Heifer that comes in next, maybe not quite as big-footed today, maybe doesn't quite track as wide as the heifer that starts the class, but again, a heifer that's got some skeletal extension, heifer that really likes to get out here and move, just a little bit narrower base today as we compare it to our class winner. As are the two heifers that come next. Again, heifers that maybe don't quite have as much length and levelness aside comparative to the two heifers that start the class. But again, heifers with a great deal of potential, some skeletal extension to them, and again, really heifers that as they continue to grow and develop, I see a lot of future potential for as well. Let's congratulate our exhibitors on the second split of heifer calves.
Leading off that second class of Charolais heifer calves is ring number 160, Sage Snyder with WMCC Opalite 3P. In second, ring number 197, Heidi Whitcomb with JSR TTL Miss Ellie 37P. In third, ring number 29, Sage Buchanan with ADB Princess Merlot 103P. And in fourth, ring number 190, Bennett Tupling with Roland Acre Starstruck 11P. Ring numbers 170, 13, and 74 scratches out of this heat. Now entering the ring is our third and final heat of Charolais heifer calves. Following this heat, we'll be asking the top two placings from the previous heats to come back and compete for our Charolais heifer calf champion. At this time, we would also like to recognize our gold sponsor, the Friends of the Canadian Charolais Foundation, and our silver sponsors, FCC, M&P, the Manitoba Charolais Association, Ryan, Allison, Anna, and Paige Nesbitt, Burgomaster Agri-Marketing, R&J Farms, and Whitewater Livestock.
For those that are following along at home of our Class 2 of our heifer calf division, the winning animal WMCC Opalite 3P, the January 10th daughter of Sparrows McClellan, was exhibited by Sage Schneider. And in second place was JSR TTL Miss Ellie 37P, a January 3rd daughter of Redemption, exhibited by Heidi Whitcomb.
In our final split of heifer calves, we've got a calf that, in my opinion, comes to the head of the class quite easily. A heifer that, when you see her from the side, certainly has enough femininity and cleanliness through her front end and her front 1/3. And then when you get behind this heifer, all of a sudden she really impresses you with the amount of muscle shape and design that she has as well, for being as attractive as she is through her front end. Really a wide-based heifer. Again, a heifer that's got some length and extension to her as well, but backs that up with a really nice muscle pattern as well. Heifer that comes next to her, a heifer that's really deep-sided and soft-made. If we could correct her, ideally, we'd maybe clean her up through her front end a little bit and made her track off of her hocks just a little more squarely as we compare it to the heifer that starts the class. But again, a heifer with a great deal of depth of body and ease of fleshing ability as well. She just comes ahead of the heifer that we have in third by being a little bit longer sided, a little bit leveler hipped. And again, when we compare to the heifer in fourth, we'd like to see her track off her rear legs just a little more squarely. But I think, again, her fleshing ability, her depth of body allows her to precede the heifer next. Heifer that comes in next, again, heifer with some raw muscle design, heifer with a lot of potential to continue to grow and develop, just not as quite as much with the base as we see in the two heifers that precede. The heifers that we have next, again, heifers that differ in their type and design a little bit. I think heifers that we could maybe like to widen out just a touch when we view them from behind. Heifers that maybe differ a little bit in terms of their structure comparative to the heifers that lead off the class. But again, heifers with a great deal of potential. The junior exhibitors doing a great job, and it'll be a lot of fun to see these heifer calves carry on into their fall show career.
Leading off this final heat of purebred Charolais heifer calves is ring number 49, Dallas Coughlin with Cornerview Juice 1P. In second, ring number 33, Haley Caldwell with WMCC Miss Prairie Cove 1P. In third, ring number 173, Aaliyah Stacy with JKC Miss Pandora 145P. In fourth, ring number 18, Faith Bauma with Bogart Devil Wears Prada 3P. In fifth, ring number 188, Sophie Taylor with Taylor Penelope 1P. In sixth, ring number 4, Kira Black with Whitewater Phoebe 2P. Now entering the ring is the top two placings from our heifer calf division to compete for our Charolais purebred heifer calf champion. On deck, we'll be looking for heat 1 of our yearling Charolais heifers.
Coming out of Heat 1 is Bridor Poppy, a Bourbon daughter. Following behind is Hicks Kelly Panley. From Class 2 of the heifer calf division, we got WMCC Opalites, a Sparrows McClellan daughter. And second, following her in that class, is JSR TTL Miss Ellie, a Redemption daughter. And out of the last class, Class 3, leading off that class, Cornerview Juice, a Keystone daughter, and following in second in that class, WMCC Miss Prairie Cove 1P, Sparrows McCullen daughter. Mr. Grant will go through our top 6 and select our champions.
Six really good heifer calves out here in your division championship. Again, heifers that represent the breed really well in terms of the amount of power that they have, but combine that with some femininity and some structure correctness as well. The two heifers that are going to win the heifer calf division out here, I think match quite well in terms of their type and design. Heifers that, again, we're really going to be excited to see as they go through into their show career and mature into some really nice bred females. So with that, I'm going to go out and select your heifer calf and reserve heifer calf champion. Let's give our young exhibitors a round of applause.
champion heifer calf today, ring number 49, Dallas Coughlin with Corner View Juice 1P. And our reserve, ring number 107, Olivia Kelly with Bridor Poppy 6P. Congratulations. Just a reminder that these two champions will need a photo at the backdrop. We will now be moving into our first heat of yearling heifers.
As we move into our first class of yearling heifers, we do have one scratch. Entry 117 is a scratch.
At this time, we'd like to thank our bronze sponsors, Master Feeds, Pioneer, Hicks Insurance Brokers Limited, Beef Farmers of Ontario, Brussels Agri Services, T-Bar Cattle Co., Malwood, Saskatchewan Charolais Association, Hard Rock Land and Cattle, J. Albert Argue and Connie Finley, Curleen Cattle, Lovell Farms, Medante Charolais, One Acre Charolais, Renfrew County Beef, Wright Livestock Marketing, Saunders Charolais, Keith and Karen Black, and Dang Charolais. Let's have a round of applause for these great sponsors. And a reminder that this is the first of 7 heats of Charolais yearling heifers.
As we start off our bred division, really a powerful set of heifers that we have from top to bottom in this class. The heifer that comes to the top, I feel comes to the top fairly easily in this division. Really a strong top level hipped heifer. She's got some femininity and extension through her front end, but she backs that up by being really wide based. As you see her track out here, track's fairly long, track's fairly true. Her rear feet meet her front feet as she goes out and moves throughout the ring here today. Heifer that comes in next, heifer that meets her pattern and design in terms of her muscle expression. Heifer that maybe just doesn't quite have as much femininity through her front end, maybe not quite as attractive when we view her from the side profile, but a heifer that has a great deal of power, really a wide-based, deep-chested heifer with a lot of rear rib as well. Those two heifers maybe get a little bit more powerful with a little more design than the heifer that comes next. Heifer is a very loose structured heifer that I think, again, has a great deal of potential, just doesn't quite have as much balance and design as the two that precede her. Come in next with a May heifer. Young gentleman's heifer, an extremely growth-oriented female. Again, maybe doesn't quite have as much depth of body or expression as we view her out here today comparative to her others, but really an attractive profiling heifer, I think, again, with a tremendous amount of growth potential. Went with the youngest heifer in the class next, a June heifer, maybe not quite as much weight per day of age as the heifers that precede her, but from a design standpoint, I think really patterns quite well. Heifer that maybe gets out here and tracks just a little bit truer than the two young ladies, females that round off the class. The two young ladies, females, again, those two differ in their type and design. We went ahead with a little bit more attractive fronted heifer, maybe a heifer a little bit fresher in her condition as we compare to the young ladies heifer next. Young ladies heifer to round out the class, really a bold ribbed, wide chested heifer, just maybe gets underneath herself a little bit as she tracks a little bit shorter hipped comparative to her classmates today. Really strong class of bred heifers to start our division. Let's give our junior exhibitors a round of applause.
Leading off that first class of yearling Charolais heifers is ring number 92, Emily Honey with Miss Prairie Cove 568N. In second, ring number 48, Dallas Coughlin with Corner View Dream Date 43N. In third, ring number 24, Lillian Briscoe with WILB Awesome 9N. In fourth, ring number 31, Tyler Burgomaster with Alton Desiree 2208N. In fifth, ring number 60, Tanis DeGurcia with MDE Miss Style 517N. In sixth, ring number 36, Peyton Caldwell with BOYHL Naomi N527. In seventh, ring number 21, Anthony Briscoe with WILB Pearl 55N. Ring number 117 is a scratch. We're now looking for heat number 2 of purebred yearling heifers.
For those following along at home and want to know the genetic side of things, the winner of that Class 1 of yearling heifers was a Milestone daughter, and second place was an SOS Klondike daughter. Congratulations to both Emily Honey and Dallas Coughlin on their class champions.
In our next class of bred heifers, really a deep set of heifers. Need to commend the exhibitors for doing such a great job on these females out here. We're going to go ahead and start the class with, I think, the longest patterned heifer. She's maybe not quite as deep and bold ribbed as the heifer that comes second to her, but I think a heifer that puts the most of the best together in terms of being really a long tracking, long sided heifer with some femininity through her front end, but I think certainly more than adequate in her width of base and her boldness of rib. Young lady's heifer that comes next, probably a deeper sided, a little bit easier fleshing heifer naturally comparative to the heifer that starts the class. We'd maybe like to just extend her a little bit and we'd maybe like to extend her just a little bit and maybe like to make her a little fresher through her front end and her front 1/3. But I think a heifer that really has a great deal of power to her, and that's probably where she precedes the next two heifers. Next two heifers, I think, very similar in their type and design. Maybe not quite as much flesh on them today, but that certainly doesn't hurt them. I think the heifer that comes in third, again, maybe a little bit leaner in terms of her overall condition, but a heifer that structurally we really like, a heifer that really has a great deal of width of base to her when we view her from behind. She's maybe just a little bit longer through her hip than the heifer that comes next to her. Heifer that comes next to her, really deep-sided, deep-ribbed heifer. She maybe just doesn't quite have as much muscle expression naturally as the heifer that precedes her, but again, a really good long-sided functional heifer. As is the young gentleman's heifer that comes next, really extended through her front 1/3, a heifer that maybe just needs a little bit more width of base as you compare to the heifers above her today, but again, a really functionally designed heifer that we really appreciate. Heifer that comes next, again, a heifer that we'd maybe like to correct just a notch on her rear legs as she goes. I think a heifer that certainly still has enough width to her. I think a heifer that's got a great deal of muscle expression, and that's where she goes ahead and places above the remaining two today. The remaining two heifers, we'd maybe like to just neaten up on their hind leg structure and how they get around the ring today, but heifers, again, with a great deal of growth and a lot of future to them as well. Let's congratulate our exhibitors on another really nice set of bred heifers.
In our second heat of yearling Charolais heifers is ring number 63, Tanner DeGursey with CRG Miss Canada 53N. In second, ring number 82, Indy Fowler with CRG Miss Canada 52N. In third, ring number 136, Paige Nesbitt with Cedardale Miss Noel 102N. In fourth, ring number 167, Kendra Snar with BOYHL Navy 590N. In fifth, ring number 154, Logan Saunders with SVY Covergirl 546N. In sixth, ring number 178, Anna Sutcliffe with WLM Max Naomi 19N. In seventh, ring number 139, Sam Oliver with Hicks Nostalgia 4N. In eighth, ring number 64, Aiden DeJong with Hicks Nella 1N. Now entering the ring is our third heat of Charolais yearling heifers.
Well, for class 2 of our yearling heifers there, it was a battle between the full sibs, Bourbon on the top side and Monty on the bottom. Winning that one was 53N of Tanner DeGursey, with second being Indy Fowler. Both heifers born the exact same day of March 9th, 2025.
At this time, we'd like to thank our class sponsors, Cedardale Farms Limited, Francrest Farms, Hamilton Hulak Charolais, Irvinside Cattle Company, McGregor Veterinary Services, Miller Land and Livestock Limited, Sophie Taylor and Taylor Farms, Owen O'Neill and Family, Alliance AgriTurf. We would also like to thank Goldie Moore for ice and equipment this week. Let's have a big round of applause for these great sponsors.
So we are now on class 3 out of 7 for our purebred Charolais heifers. With 9 entries in this class, ages varying from January 20th to February 20th. So at the front of the class is February 20th, end of the class is January 20th, a month in difference in this class. Judge Grant with his reasons.
Another really deep class in this age group. I think the heifer that starts the class, probably the combination heifer. She doesn't necessarily excel in terms of muscle. She doesn't necessarily have the most expression or width the base, but I think the heifer that combines a lot of things. I think she's certainly deep enough sided and deep enough ribbed. She's got some fleshing ability, some depth of quarter, if the young lady'd like to take her out now. And I think a longer strided heifer that gets off freer and easier off of her back legs when we compare it to the heifer in second. Heifer in second and third differ in their type a little bit, but I think heifer is very similar or very close in terms of their placing. Young gentleman's heifer maybe just a little bit stouter made and wider based. If you'd like to go ahead and lead her off. Heifer, I'd maybe like to correct on her rear leg structure as she tracks just a little bit, and that's where the heifer in third excels her. I think the heifer in third may be a little bit looser made, but a really deep-sided heifer, a heifer that's got some growth and some stretch to her you can see as well. Really a nice heifer that lady brought forth. Heifer next, again, I think pattern's very similar in her type and kind to the one that stands ahead of her. I think a heifer that maybe gets just a little bit easier in her top as you compare. Heifer maybe just a little bit narrower when we look at her from behind, but I think a heifer, again, with some skeletal extension, and really appreciate that heifer's growth potential as well. Young lady's heifer next. A heifer maybe likes to toe out just a little bit on her front end, but a heifer that has a great deal of expression to her as well as we view her up in her top of her hip. Probably a little bit shorter in terms of her stride, maybe a little bit shorter out of her hip as comparative to the heifers above, but a really nice heifer. Heifer that comes in next, the most powerfully constructed heifer in the class. Heifer with a great deal of foot size and bone with the base. Heifer I'd just like to correct a little bit through her front 1/3, maybe lean her up through her neck and clean her up in her shoulder just a touch. But I think a very powerful heifer that when mated correctly is going to produce some really good thick heavy made calves. The three heifers that remain, heifers that differ in their type and kind a little bit, maybe heifers that don't quite meet my eye in terms of structure, in terms of how they walk off and track, heifers that differ in terms of their frame size a little bit, and that certainly doesn't count against them. I think heifers that just don't quite match my eye in terms of the overall balance and structural soundness as compared to the heifers above. Another really strong, deep class. Let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Leading off this class of yearling heifers is ring number 73, Ashley Ernewine with Irvinside, Miss Monte Carlo, 8N. In second, ring number 88, Owen Hamilton with CRG, Miss Lickety Split, 45N. In third, ring number 16, Faith Bauma with Bogart, Kimmy's Northwest, 4N. In fourth, ring number 132, Anna Nesbitt with Harvey, Miss Hilda, 24N. In fifth, ring number 134, Paige Nesbitt with Cedardale, Miss Navy, 40N. In sixth, ring number 67, Ethan Easby with WMCC Neverland, 6N. In seventh, ring number 144, Leah Redden with Cedardale, Miss Nala, 51N. In eighth, ring number 99, May Jordan with WMCC Loval, Go Cocoa Puff, 7N. In ninth, ring number 55, Brooklyn Cramp with Medante Neverending Story, 13N. Now entering the ring is our next heat of purebred yearling heifers.
For those interested in the genetic side of things of that last class, exhibitor number 73 was first in that class, Irvingside Miss Monte Carlo. She is a February 2nd daughter out of Redemption. Congratulations to Ashley Irwin. And in second place in that class, entry number 88, CRG Miss Lickety Split. She is a Bourbon daughter born on the 19th of February. Congratulations to Owen Hamilton. As we move into class 4 of our yearling heifers, we do have a one scratch. Entry 103, Hicks Kelly Nova is a scratch.
We'd like to remind our juniors that lunch is ready over here in the marshal or in the folks area over here behind the stands. So juniors, please get your lunch. For folks that are in the stands that do not have a meal plan, they are taking cash over there as well.
For those of us on DLMS, please go over to back to our homepage and see the Friends of the Canadian Charolais Foundation auction that started at 11 o'clock today. So it's been live for about an hour. So if you want to switch between that and the show or open up another window, feel free to do that. And we thank you to the Friends of Charolais Foundation for being a gold sponsor in our show today. Judge Grant with his reasons.
As we get into our January heifers, certainly an interesting group that differ in type and design somewhat. We went ahead and used the heifer that starts the class again. I think in my mind makes the most of the best. I think she's again maybe not the growthiest heifer out of the group, but I think she certainly has more than adequate amount of growth. I think she's got some width of chest to her and some power. Again, and I think a heifer that balances that out by being fairly long-sided and level-hipped as well. Heifer that comes in next is of the pair, more powerfully constructed. The young lady, pull her out. Really a thick-topped, heavy-muscled heifer. She just doesn't quite present herself with as much length and extension through her front 1/3, but I think a heifer that's got some power to her and some more shape to her upper hip. The young lady's heifer in third. Of the three, the most skeletally extended, long-decided heifer. She's a heifer that maybe just doesn't quite give us as much expression over the top of her hip and through her lower quarter as the two heifers that precede. really alongside a high growth performance heifer that we have in fourth. Again, maybe a heifer that has just a little more set to her hock, maybe doesn't quite come out as nice in her tail head as the heifers that precede, but we really appreciate her for her performance. Young lady's heifer next, again, one that's maybe a little bit smaller in her kind, maybe really a feminine heifer up through her front end, but maybe just needs a little bit more overall muscle expression as we compare. Round out the class with two really growth-oriented heifers that I think relative to their frame size could show us just a little bit more muscle expression to be ideal. We really appreciate the growth and the length and the frame size of these two heifers. Again, proportionally, just like to see them with a little bit more mass and body composition comparative. Let's give our exhibitors another round of applause.
Leading off this heat of yearling Charolais heifers is ring number 157, Cooper Saunders with JSR Jasmine 66N. In second, ring number 112, Kate McDonald with Ballamore Kiwi 572N. In third, ring number 113, Dallas McAvoy with HDT 16N. In fourth, ring number 19, Emily Bork with Hidden Lake Nancy 13N. In fifth, ring number 179, Anna Sutcliffe with WLM Max Nifty 9N. In sixth, ring number 186, Sophie Taylor with Taylor Natasha 12N. In seventh, ring number 130, Anna Nesbitt with Cedardale Miss Nancy Drew 35N. Now entering the ring is our next heat of Charolais yearling heifers.
For those interested on the genetic side of things on that last class, first place 157 JSR Jasmine is a Cobain daughter, and second 112 Ballamore Kiwi is a WC Whitewater daughter. Only 6 days between them, January 14th for the JSR Jasmine and January 20th for the Ballamore Kiwi. We're looking for, we have eight entries in class number 5, the yearling females. The oldest being January 5th and the youngest being January 11th of 2025.
As we get into some of our older age females, I think a really nice balanced heifer that starts the class. A heifer, when you get behind her, really impresses you with her power, but I think from the side certainly has some length and some femininity to her as well. I think a really nice combination heifer to start the class. Ideally, maybe we'd lean her up through her neck just a touch, but that certainly doesn't hurt her from a overall standpoint. Really a nice, well-balanced heifer. She comes out of her hip a little bit nicer than the heifer that stands second. I think, again, when we look at her in terms of her tail head set and her levelness, just have a just doesn't quite have the same amount of overall structure that the heifer that starts the class is. I think comparatively to the heifer in third, this was a really close pairing for me. The heifer in third, certainly a little longer through her overall spine, maybe ties in a little bit nicer through her tail head. A heifer that maybe gives up just a little bit of the muscle expression that the two heifers that start the class do. And then another performance-oriented heifer that comes in next, again, pairs up quite well with the heifer we have in third. Heifer in third, again, just a little bit longer through her hip and maybe tracks just a little bit cleaner and truer on her hind legs. Young gentleman's heifer that comes next. Heifer that's very moderate in her frame size. She's got some depth and some chest floor to her, and maybe just a little bit shorter out of her hip as you compare to the heifers that precede her. And the two, the young lady and the young gentleman that round out the class, heifers you'd like to just see a little bit truer on their overall stride, how they stand maybe through their front leg and their rear hock. But heifers, again, with some tremendous amount of length aside and some doability to them as well. Let's congratulate those exhibitors on another really nice class.
Leading off Class 9 of yearling heifers is ring number 94, Emily Honey with Lovell Go Coco 506N. In second, ring number 192, Griffin Tupling with MVY Marcy 12N. In third, ring number 127, Heike Moyer with Moyer Worthwhile 9N. In fourth, ring number 125, Hannah Moyer with Moyer's Nicky 4N. In fifth, ring number 149, Travis Robinson with Whitewater NASCAR 9N. In sixth, ring number 39, Faith Campbell with Campbell Nightclub 1N. In seventh, ring number 164, Gunnar Siddall with CJD Nelly 6N.
For those interested in the genetic side of things, first place in that class, entry number 94, Lovell Go Coco, was a Keystone daughter, born January 10th, 25. Congratulations to Emily Honey. And second place, 192, MVY Marcy 12N, is a Backwater Jack daughter, born January 11th. Congratulations to Griffin Tupling.
If you're looking for ways to support this event and the Charolais breed, we have a silent auction going on back here with items that will all go back to the CCYA. There's also a foundation auction going on DLMS as well, so tune in there for that online auction as well.
Another competitive class here in this age of bred heifers that differ somewhat in their type and kind out here comparative to one another. A heifer that starts the class, ideally if I could change her, I'd like to just lean her up and freshen her a little bit in her condition. She's maybe carrying a little bit too much flesh for me today, but I think after that, again, a heifer that has a great deal of power but combines that with some femininity. Heifer that likes to get out here and move once she does get on the travel. Heifer in next, a really well designed heifer. She's strong topped and level out her hip. Fairly long strided heifer as well. Doesn't quite carry or match as much of the power that we start the class with, but a heifer that we really appreciate for her length of side, as well as she is of the pair a little bit trimmer through her front end. Young gentleman's heifer that comes next, heifer that patterns up very similar with the heifer in second, maybe just doesn't quite come out as neat and as true in her tail head. I think she does have a little bit more muscle up top, but maybe a little narrower tracking comparative to the heifer ahead of her. Young lady's heifer next, really a high performance heifer with a great deal of growth potential. Relative to her frame size, I'd like to widen her out just a touch. She tends to get just a little bit narrower based when you see her track from behind. The two heifers that round out the class, I think heifers that need to lean up just a little bit in their condition, if we could change them. Heifers that we'd like to see track freer and easier, both off their front and their rear end of their skeleton. So heifers, again, with some muscle expression to them, just like to see them track better structurally. Let's congratulate our exhibitors once again.
Leading off that class of yearling heifers is ring number 70, Kayla Eaton with WMCC Naples 2N. In second, ring number 97, Riley Hunter with Cornerview Lacey 4N. In third, ring number 121, Jaden Morby with Cornerview Nina 10N. In fourth, ring number 147, Ella Ritchie with K's Wrangler Donna Rael 1N. In fifth, ring number 6, Rhett Black with Whitewater Nala 7N. And in sixth, ring number 52, Brody Cramp with Medante No Regrets. Scratches in this class are 44 and 85. Entering the ring is our final heat of Charolais yearling heifers. Following this, we'll be looking for the top two placings from the previous heats to compete for a yearling champion female. We will be looking for cows on deck.
For those interested in the genetic side of things, the winner of that class, WMCC Naples, is a Shake the Frost daughter, born January 5th, 25. Congratulations to Keller Eaton. And the second in that class was Cornerview Lacey, a Backwater Jack daughter, January 4th. Congratulations to Riley Hunter. This is our last class before we get to our division champion in the yearling heifers. We do have one scratch. Entry 195 from Ava Wagstaff is a scratch. And in addition, entry number 44, Blackburn Nova 5N, born January 1st, 2025, exhibited by Fisher Cavers, is an entry in that class.
in our final class, I believe, of yearling heifers. Heifer that starts the class, again, what we're trying to look at for is a combination of straight traits when it comes to structural soundness, balance, eye appeal, and muscle expression. And this heifer does all very well. I think a very complete heifer that really comes nice and true out of her head, neck, and shoulder into her top line. Very strong topped and level out of her hip, and a heifer that carries enough muscle pattern for sure. Heifer that comes in next, a heifer that's maybe a little bit more expressive down her top and out of her hip. A heifer that maybe gets just a little bit easier in her loin, maybe tracks just a little bit looser off of her rear hind leg when it comes to rolling her hock just a touch. But a heifer, I think, again, very expressively muscled with a tremendous amount of top shape to her. Young gentleman's heifer next, probably of the pair, the longer sided and leveler hipped. She just gives up a little bit in terms of natural width and base when we compare her to the heifer above. Young lady's heifer coming next. Again, a heifer that we like quite well from the side. She maybe gets just a little bit shorter out of her hip and maybe just a little bit steeper from hooks to pins as we compare to the heifer that follows. Young gentleman's heifer next. Again, a really growthy, long-sided heifer. Heifer that gets out here and maybe tracks just a little bit tougher off of her rear wheel, tends to roll her hock just a little bit as we watch her go. But I think a heifer that's got maybe the advantage in terms of overall length of side comparative to the young lady's heifer next. Young lady's heifer really deep-bodied and easy fleshing. We certainly appreciate that about her. Ideally, if we would, we'd like to extend her out through her head and neck just a little bit, maybe make her a little easier tracking comparatively, but a heifer that certainly has some performance and some future too. The young gentleman, young lady to round out the class, again, really high growth oriented females, heifers that we really like from that perspective. We'd maybe like to just change them a little bit relative to their frame size and make them just a little bit stouter made. But comparatively, again, really a strong class of very deep heifers.
Leading off this final heat of Charolais yearling heifers is ring number 90, Samantha Hamilton with CRG Got It Going On 27N. In second, ring number 199, Tate Williams with JSR Jasmine 20N. In third, ring number 105, Liam Kelly with Brydor Nina 4N. In fourth, ring number 123, Haley Moyer with Brydor Nora 3N. In fifth, ring number 44, Fisher Cavers with Blackburn Nora 21N. In sixth, ring number 137, Shaylee Oat with HSBB Fergus Nancy 2N. In seventh, ring number 95, Blake Hunter with Blackburn Nikki 1N. In eighth, ring number 1, Paisley Barron with WMCC Nutmeg 1N. 195 is a scratch. This is our yearling champion female class. We will ask the top two placings to head to the backdrop for a photo opportunity. Following that, we'll be looking for our 2-year-old pairs.
As we get our 10 yearlings out here for a champion drive, just giving some genetic reminders. Out of Class 1, we have a Milestone daughter in the first hole, second hole in SOS Klondike. Out of Class 2, we have Full Sibs, Bourbon out of Monty. Class 3, we have Redemption in the first hole and a Bourbon in the second. And Class 4, we have a Cobain with a Whitewater following behind. 5, we have a Keystone daughter out of Backwater Jack. Then we have a Shake the Frost in Backwater Jack. In our last split, we had a Bourbon daughter in the first hole and a Stepler Enterprise daughter in the second. Quite the showcase of Charolais genetics in this class of yearling heifers. Judge Grant with his reasons.
Great set of bred heifers that we have out here. You can tell the tremendous amount of depth that we've had within each class. And I think when you have that type of depth and you get out here for your champion drive for a certain division, and you can see some similarities in terms of the type and design and muscle expression and volume that we have out here, it's a great testament and representation of the breed and to these young exhibitors and the breeders that stand outside of the ring. So again, when we look at the presentation of the females as well, all these exhibitors doing a super nice job out here. Heifers that in July maybe aren't in fall condition when it comes to the show ring, but heifers that we really appreciate in terms of how they've been presented and the condition that they're in. I'm not going to comment on each of the classes of heifers that we have, but I hope that the lineup is representative of what I've been looking for here so far today. Heifers that are pretty complete in their design, certainly have more than enough muscle expression, really loose in terms of their structure, but have some strength at top and levelness of hip and some width of base to them. I think with that, again, we could go a lot of different ways out here. There's two heifers that rise to the top a little bit more than the rest for me. With that, let's go ahead and give our young exhibitors a round of applause, and I'll go out and select your two champions.
Your champion female in the yearling division today is ring number 92, Emily Honey with Miss Prairie Cove 568N. And your reserve champion female is ring number 90, Samantha Hamilton with CRG Got It Going On 27. And congratulations. After a brief photo break, we will go ahead with our 2-year-old pairs and mature cow, and then we will move into our champion Charolais female, followed by our commercial division.
So for the division winner, we had out of Division 1 an April 1st heifer, Miss Prairie Cove's 568N. She is a milestone. Congratulations to Emily Honey. And our reserve out of the last split is entry number 90, CRG Got It Going, is a Bourbon daughter born January 2nd, 25. Congratulations to Samantha Hamilton as we start into our 2-year-old females. So I guess we did decide we are taking a picture break with the judge. It'll be just about a couple minutes, and then we'll get into our 2-year-old pairs. We have 5 2-year-old pairs here at CCYA. Quite the showing of pairs this early in the year.
Great set of pairs out here today. I think we can mix and match a little bit, all 2-year-olds, and so we'll see how the cows continue to grow and develop and see how their udders progress or change over time. We went ahead and started the class with the most powerful pair, January calf that has a great deal of muscle expression to her, some bone and some width of base, as represented by her mother. When we look at this cow, one thing we'd maybe like to change about her is just lean her up in her condition a little bit. Sometimes that's tough with good doing cows, and so we're going to give her the benefit of the doubt there. But after that, really a strong-topped, heavy-muscled female, but still maintains a great deal of femininity through her front end. And when she does go out and stride again, fairly structurally sound when you see her on the move. Young lady's cow next, probably the longest-sided cow of the group. Really like how this cow comes through her shoulder, head, neck, and junction. I think, again, a heifer that's really long-sided, level-based. Maybe not quite as much power there for the calf today, but again, a cow that we really appreciate for her volume and her size. Young lady's cow next, probably the freshest in condition of the top 3, and we really appreciate her for that. Really a long-sided, level hip cow, a cow that we really appreciate for her udder as well. Just maybe not quite as much power and volume as we see in the 2 individuals. Tough to break up 2 cows that are that similar in their design, but we really appreciate the udder of the cow in third as well. 4th and 5th place in this class, again, I think cows that have a great deal of potential to them, and it's going to be exciting to watch those cows continue into their production cycle. Went ahead and used the cow, I think, with just a little bit more levelness to her hip, maybe a little bit tinier or smaller teat size, etc. But I think 2 cows that we really appreciate for their type and kind as well. So let's give our 2-year-old exhibitors a round of applause.
Leading off that class of 2-year-olds is ring number 83, Scarlett Fowler with Miss Prairie Cove 4383M. In second, ring number 56, Brooklyn Cramp with Madante Starstruck 1M. In third, ring number 27, Casey Buchanan with Moyers Miss Merlot 10M. In fourth, ring number 175, Farrah Stacy with JKC Miss Firefly 85M. In fifth, ring number 72, Ashley Ernewine with EVF Hannah 411M. We'll ask the top 2 placings to return for our champion cow-calf pair class following this mature pair class. Just to clarify, we will be bringing our 2-year-olds back for our champion female class, which will be following this class. There are banners for both 2-year-old and mature pair.
We've just got 1 pair in our mature cow division. This is a January calf on a 9-year-old cow. So when we analyze this cow for, she's probably kind of like me on the backside of her productive life, but when you look at this cow and appreciate her for what she is, super sound structured cow, plenty of depth of body and width of base, super nice udder for her age. I mean, really a cow that has a lot of correctness to all 4 quarters. Teat size is great. This is a cow we should appreciate and all strive for to have of this age that's obviously been that good in terms of production. So really, again, a cow with a great deal of volume, beautiful udder for a 9-year-old cow, and doing a really nice job on a January calf. Let's congratulate those two young ladies for a job well done.
Our champion mature pair today is ring number 12, Lily Buffard with Open Gate Anna 1E. We'll now ask the champion in reserve calf, champion in reserve yearling, champion in reserve 2-year-old, and your mature pair to come into the ring for our champion female selection. We'll have our crossbreds on deck, please.
when Judge Grant is taking his final evaluation into consideration, we'd like to thank our platinum sponsors, the Canadian Charolais Association, the Carp Fair, the Charolais Banner, DLMS, Coach Agronomics, and Ontario Charolais. Judge Grant with his overall female.
I know we've got the commercial class and the steer class to follow yet, but let's take a moment to congratulate our exhibitors on a great job, a great set of females that we have out here. Again, I think it's really a testament to the breeders and exhibitors when you see the class of champions out here that have some very similar design characteristics in type and kind. We've got two powerful yet really growthy and youthful heifer calves with some stretch to them. We've got two yearlings out here that show a tremendous amount of body and depth and yet maintain that femininity we like to see. We've got two 2-year-olds out here with a tremendous amount of power. Two calves, again, that we look at from a length of side standpoint, differ a little bit in type and kind, but again, as we go on with breeding these females, certainly a representation of what they're going to do throughout their productive lives. And then a 9-year-old cow out there that, again, is a real testament to the breed for the job that she's done. I think something that the young lady should be very proud of, and us as breeders should be really enthusiastic about to show the longevity of cows like that. Just a couple comments in terms of things that I see in the industry right now. You know, we've got a shortage of cows, obviously the lowest number since the 1950s. We have to make that up over time, but we also can make that up with carcass weight and pounds. Okay? Carcass weights keep going up in the packing plants because we have to compensate for the lower number of cows in the cow herd. And I think Charolais breed is obviously the best suited, right? We want to make these cows maternal, we want them to have longevity, but we are paid to put pounds on cattle. And so hybrid vigor is our biggest advantage. There's no other breed that's going to be able to do that as effectively as the Charolais breed right now. And so we certainly need to maintain performance and power to the bulls that we're going to put out in the industry. And I think as we look at the power to these females, certainly represented very well, and I think bulls that would follow suit if we had a bull show to follow. I appreciate everybody for all the support and the help. Our two ring men, ring persons out here, Aaron and Craig. Craig and I have been doing this a long time. One of the most fun engagements that I had with Craig was the World Charolais Congress in '06. To age ourselves a little bit, neither Craig or I had glasses at that point in time. I don't know if today is an improvement or a detriment to that. Craig can't hear us anyways, so I can talk all about him that I want right now. But again, let's go ahead and congratulate our exhibitors. I'm going to go out and select your champion, reserve champion female.
Your champion female today, coming out of your yearling division, ring number 92, Emily Honey with Miss Prairie Cove 568N. Congratulations. And your reserve also coming out of the yearling division, ring number 90, Samantha Hamilton with CRG, Got It Going On 27N. Congratulations to all of our purebred female division champions. We will do our pair photos at the backdrop now, and then we will move into our commercial division, followed by our steer class. single class in the commercial division here this afternoon. We'll have our steers on deck.
A small but good quality commercial show here today. We only have 3 commercial animals, all yearlings. Drastic variations in ages, some Octobers and the other one in May. The winner of this class will be your automatic overall commercial female and reserve.
Body mass tour